And welcome back to Troll Time. I'm your host, Ivan D. Curtis, and this is a show where we talk sports, movies, or anything thought provoking. Today's episode, we'll be talking college football and NFL football, just highlighting a few games. We'll be talking, of course, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas State, Colorado, and highlighting some other games. NFL, we always spotlight Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football, etc. Um, I want everybody to throw a prayer out for my sidekick, A. Willie. He hasn't been under the weather, so we wishing him nothing but the best and getting healthy. And I spoke to him last night. He's ready to get back rocking and rolling, but health is first. So just throw a prayer in the air for my bro. But we got another brother in the house. Derwin Royale. He's the sports anchor and reporter for CBS affiliate WPRI. I met him a few years ago. We've been locked in ever since. It's my honor and a pleasure to have him on the show. Derwin, what's going on with you, man?
Man, just enjoying the day. I got a little day off. It's been busy, busy, busy last night. Watch a little college basketball with UConn. They were down at Mohegan Sun, playing URI, University of Rhode Island. It was a great exhibition game for a cure for cancer. So a good cause. So enjoying the day off and talking a little sports with you.
No, no doubt, no doubt. And this is by far no replacement or anything like that. We all used to get together once a week on a nice show where we talk sports and anything trending, esports world and stuff like that. So esports extra was the show. But
Yes,
just
yeah.
just getting right into it, man. We like I said, we had Ohio State and Oregon, man.
Mm.
Oregon came in ranked number 3 at home. Ohio State on the road, number 2. No, we had people said we hadn't played anybody, so this was our first test. Felt like Ohio State played pretty well. Definitely I need some help, need some work in that secondary. Denzel Burke, they picked on him all day and all night, and unfortunately Ohio State came up short. Me being the fellow Buckeye fan that I am, 32-31. Now that's Ohio State's first loss on the season. 2-1 now in the Big Ten. Durbin, yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on just Ohio State and Oregon. Oregon moving over in the Big Ten. I honestly think that there's going to be some threats in the
Mm.
Big Ten with Oregon, Washington. USC eventually is going to hop into the mix.
Right.
But just your thoughts on Oregon and Ohio State.
Well, a couple of years back, you would never think that Oregon would win a game like that of that magnitude against a powerhouse out of the Big Ten. But this is an opportunity for some of those Pac-10, Pac-12 teams to prove that they belong. So it's a big win for Oregon's program to get a victory like that. And you can see as that game was over, their coaches were fired up to get that kind of win. And if you're Ohio State, it's a measuring stick to see where your program is at. It's one loss. You still look at the top five. They're still in there. They're still in the mix for a playoff run. But it was a really good game. You lose a game by a point. I mean, hey, there's nothing to cry about.
No, no doubt. And just to throw some quick numbers out there, Will Howard, 28 for 35, 326 yards passed, and 2 touchdowns. Dylan Gabriel, 341 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, I had mentioned in order for Ohio State to win this game, we had to either pick or choose what we let Oregon do. And unfortunately, Oregon was able to do both. They had 155 yards rushing, and of course 341 yards in the air. That's not going to cut it if you're trying to win it, like you said, trying to win a game of that magnitude. Um, just Ohio State to bounce back. They don't play again until another week. Um, Great game though. Great
Yeah.
game. Came down to the wire. I know everybody's seen it. I don't know what Will Howard was thinking at the end. I know he was trying to make a play to get them closer, but clock management. failed us in that instance. But looking to see how Ohio State bounced back going forward. Next up, we got Texas and Oklahoma. Not too much to say about this game. Texas, they just came. They came from the beginning to the end. It was a slow start in the first quarter. Then they picked it up the second quarter. They scored 21 points unanswered and pretty much rolled the rest of the way. They won 34-3. Texas is now 6-0. Oklahoma falls to 4-2. Just to throw some numbers out there, Quint Ewers came back. 199 yards passing, 20 for 29. Michael Hawkins Jr., the outstanding freshman for Oklahoma, he kind of struggled. He struggled in that game, which is I felt like if Texas could get after him, that was going to be an issue. Texas, top team in the country. Your thoughts on Texas overall as you've seen them throughout the season?
Well, another team changing conference, trying to show that they belong in their new conference, and that's the Red River rivalry. When you got rivalries, you throw the numbers out the window. Those two teams don't like each other. The two cities don't like each other. Two states as well. So Texas right now, the top of the heap. Normally that would be an Alabama or Ohio State, but Alabama has a new head coach, so they're going through their little flux right now. So Texas is on the top right now and trying to navigate through their new schedule. So it was a really good win for them, and it keeps them right on course.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like you said, throw the numbers out. Nothing pops out when you look at the stats. But like I said, rivalries is all about getting the job done. It don't matter if you win by half a point. You just trying to get that win. Yeah, Oklahoma had been dominating that rivalry over the last few years or so.
Yeah.
So it was. I wasn't shocked that Texas came out and smacked up on them, but I was hoping it was going to be more competitive. Moving on, Alabama bounced back, beat South Carolina 27-25. They fought to beat South Carolina. South Carolina, had a chance down the stretch. It was a seesaw game back and forth down to the last minutes, and then South Carolina got the onside kick, and I thought we might have been in business for another upset, but then South Carolina finished it off with a pick. Lenore Sellers threw up basically he forced it and threw up a pass, and it got picked off, and that pretty much closed out the game. But I said if Alabama would have lost, DeBoer wouldn't have had a home to go to. Good win, but you got to take wins how they come.
Right.
Way to bounce back for Alabama. I think new coach, new system, new scheme. I mean, still same boatload of talented players, but things take time. But when you're Alabama, you don't get time.
No.
It's championship or bust every year, every game. Just your thoughts on Alabama with their new coach.
Hey man, it's hard to replace a legend. Alabama, you always hear Roll Tide. They've been rolling for years with Nick Saban. Nick Saban is gone. So now what are we seeing? This year is a year of a lot of adversity, a lot of change. We see teams going from the Pac-12 into new conferences. We're seeing Alabama without Nick Saban. Alabama, the last 2 weeks have had really close games where they had to dig deep to pull some of these games out. It's going to help them be a little bit more battle tested. And it's a great, a character win for them going forward in the SEC. And if you're South Carolina, you got to think that, hey, we're that close. We almost beat Alabama. We're that close, and maybe they could be a year away. So it was a good measuring stick for both squads.
No, I agree. I agree. It's gonna be interesting. I think Alabama is in for a treat. Every game, no matter what, we'll get to. They got another. It's Super Bowl. It's national championship Saturday every time they play.
Yeah.
They got another heavy hitter coming up this week, and we'll get into that. But Georgia, 41-31 over Mississippi State. not too much to talk about there. I mean, Georgia's another team that I think that we're gonna continue to see get challenged each and every week. Penn State had a heck of a comeback against USC, 33 to 30. I thought USC had that game pretty much in hand, and then they came back and forced the overtime where they, not kicked the field goal and won the game. But Penn State 6-0. Brandon Bell, one of our brothers, I know he pretty proud over there about them Nittany Lions.
Yeah.
But now 6-0, 3-0 in the Big Ten. I know we got the Buckeyes. We got to see them later on in the season, I believe, and never looking forward to that matchup. But big ups to Penn State for taking care of their business and introducing USC to the Big Ten.
Yeah, man.
uh,
The Big Ten is loaded, and all these teams in the Big Ten just trying to get position. They want to be in that top 12 to be in the playoffs. So big win for that program. It's been a while for Penn State. So, to navigate through USC and get that out of the way and move on to the next.
Yeah, indeed. I think another, of course, around here. I mean, me and A Willie, we big Prime fans, man.
Yeah.
We rolling with Prime. I know Derwin probably he got his thoughts on Prime and the Buffs, but the Buffs come up short against Kansas State, 31-28. Now, like any Colorado game, you always in for a treat. I mean, because it's going to be a movie one way or another, and it was a thriller. Avery Johnson responded after Colorado took the lead, and basically won the game off a long pass. I think he hit Jaden. I want to say it was Jace Brown. He hit on a 50-yard touchdown pass that basically sealed the game, and that was right after Shedeur had threw a touchdown pass to Will Shepherd after Will Shepherd had dropped the pass previously before that. And ended up winning the game. But Avery Johnson threw for 224 yards, 2 touchdowns. I like his swag, man. He scored a touchdown and hit the Prime dance one time. Shedeur, another outstanding game. I mean, considering he lost receivers mid-game,
Right.
Travis Hunter was out basically the most of the game. One of his main threats. Wide receiver, but Shedeur, he threw for 388 yards, 3 touchdowns. One interception, was 34 for 40. Still think he takes too many sacks,
Yeah.
and untimely sacks. And actually, before the possession before that they had before they actually scored a touchdown, he threw a pick, which is he rarely throws picks, but it was an overthrown pass, and they were driving. It was on a drive where they either would have, could have scored or got 3, but threw a pick. And I thought that was going to cost them the game at that moment, but then they came back and scored. But then, unfortunately, K-State countered and pretty much, won the game. But just your thoughts, first of all, Avery Johnson, what you think about him? And then Colorado, I want to hear your thoughts, Derwin.
you know, I love Prime. Been watching Prime for God knows however when he was a player at Florida State. But love what he's doing with those kids out there in Colorado. Anytime that they're playing, it's primetime television. You want to tune in. You want to watch. The problem with the Buffs, pretty much is they can't really. They need to get better in the trenches, offensive line, defensive line. I think it causes Shedeur sometimes. The offensive line is not that great. He tries to do too much. He's excellent talent, really good quarterback. He's going to get drafted real high when it gets time for him to go to the NFL. And, these guys are going to always be in these shootouts because that defense can't stop anyone. They're getting gashed in the run game. They're giving up big plays. So it causes the Colorado offense to always, week in and week out, have to put up big time points to stay in these games. And most of the time, I guess, even Saturday night, they were trailing in that game. They had to come from behind once again. and they make it's entertaining. Like Dion was when he played, he was very entertaining, and the Buffs are really fun to watch. As a Buffs fan or a Deion Sanders fan, I just want to see him win. I would love to see him in that top 12, but they're a long way from that. But just want to see those guys win, and it's always great to watch Colorado Buffalo play.
Now, it's interesting you say that. Just to flip the script, for those who know me, I'm a big time gamer in my spare time, and I actually got an offline dynasty going with my Buckeyes where I played. I was an offensive coordinator for like 7 seasons or whatever, and then I recently took the head coaching job at South Carolina, but in 2030, it had Colorado in the playoffs. So
That
hey,
would,
we'll see if it happens before then or whatever. But I just thought it was funny when I looked and seen the playoff bracket, and I seen Colorado was in the playoffs. I thought that was funny. But yeah, I agree, Darwin. Like I think things have improved somewhat,
mhm.
but until you can hang with the big boys in the trenches, D line, O line, I think you're going to struggle to find consistency any way you look at it. Um,
Right.
Before we move on to the NFL, just some key games that's going to be on the billet. Colorado plays Arizona uh, this week. Um, that's probably be the first game I end up watching because it's a daytime game.
Okay.
Because Colorado and those nighttime games be killing me. Um, I find myself sometimes dozing off. Um, but yeah, you got Colorado and Arizona. Then you got Alabama and Tennessee. That's going to be
Woo.
another challenge for Alabama, and it's at Tennessee.
Oh wow.
Then you got Georgia and Texas. Um,
Mm.
3 good games that got my attention. Of course, there's some other games going on, but those are the top 3 games that I've seen. Georgia and Texas is at 7:30 on ABC. Georgia 5-1, Texas 6-0, as I mentioned earlier. That's probably going to be the highlight game
Yeah.
of the night. But the Alabama and Tennessee is going to be one to look out for. That's 3:30 game, ABC. ABC jumping,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then Alabama 5-1, 2-1 in the SEC. Tennessee 5-1, 2-1 in the SEC. And I think that for Colorado, this is going to be a big challenge for them because they're going to run through a gauntlet in the Big 12. I think they're coming up into the meat of their schedule. And I think it's going to be pretty key for them. They got to start with, if they want to even make a bowl game,
Hmm.
they got to start pulling out these tough games as as the season goes along. But moving on to the NFL, we had week. I want to say week 6,
Seven.
I don't know,
7.
week 7
Yeah.
at the NFL. Um, Denver and New Orleans was Thursday night. Jets and Steelers Sunday night, and then we had that. No. That's upcoming.
That's
Upcoming.
yes
Yeah, we
upcoming.
had San Francisco and Seattle, which is
Right. That was
on
week 6.
cue.
Yes.
On cue because Derwin is a huge Seattle Seahawk fan, and then Sunday night we had Cincinnati and Giants, and
Yeah.
then Monday night we had Bills and Jets. Um, Thoughts on your team, Derwin? They opened up Thursday night for Week 7. This week no, that was week
That was week
6.
6.
Week 6.
Yes.
I'm throwing stuff all over the place. Week 6. But talk about your squad and how'd you like that game, man?
Well, going into it, I thought it would be a tough game for us to win. I really didn't expect us to win this game. Just because of what San Fran likes to do. They're a smash mouth team. They want to run the football. And at times, we have a new head coach in Seattle. The head coach used to coach the defense for the Baltimore Ravens. He doesn't really have the horses yet that he wants totally. So he's not only coaching the team, he's also still calling the defense. So there are times when if you watch Seattle this year, there'll be games where they'll play really well, and then there's times they're just getting gashed defensively on within the run game. So we saw that late in that game too. They had a hard time stopping San Francisco. So there's still a work in progress. And Geno Smith didn't have one of his better games. So San Fran showed once again they're still the team to beat in the NFC West. And Seattle, they have some work to do. They won their first 3 games in a row. Now they've lost 3 in a row. And next game for them is going to be Atlanta.
Yeah, and, no, in that game, San Fran defeated Seattle 36-24, and as Brock Purdy, 255, 18-28, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Ran the ball, 228 yards rushing. I mean, that'll do it.
Yeah.
And Geno Smith, as you mentioned, 30 for 52, 312 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Deebo Samuel's 102 yards receiving off 3 receptions, 1 touchdown. Yeah, just I like what you said earlier. New coach still trying to get some things in play. It's gonna be you always I think every coach in the NFL, no matter at what level, when you coming into a situation and trying to get your players, it's gonna be tough. Sunday night football, Giants, Bengals. I used to be a Giants fan, but I had to hang it up. Hey, once they let Saquon out of there, I had to go with them. Now I didn't go to Philly, but I root for CJ with the Texans. I'll talk about them in a second. But Buckeye, I had to follow one of my Buckeyes one way or the other. But Bengals 17-7 over the Giants. I felt like in this game the Giants had their shot.
Yeah.
To take control of this game. It was a slow start, only 7 points in the first half from both teams. Picked up late. The Bengals, walked away with a win, but they haven't been looking good. They're sitting at 2-4, and so is the Giants 2-4 right now. And not really a pretty. It wasn't an entertaining game with Sunday Night Football. We kind of got what we expected, seeing what both teams had done before they came in. But just your thoughts on Sunday Night Football with the Bengals and the Giants.
Well, we saw a game between 2 teams that are under 500, and they played like that. One thing you could pull from this game, if you're a Giants fan, is that defense has been playing well. You hope in the next coming weeks that the offense could kind of catch up. But and then with Cincinnati, they're notorious for slow starts. And if you look back at it, first game of the season, they lose to the Patriots. Patriots are really not that good, but they didn't have T Higgins. He was hurt, and then Jamar Chase. He pretty much had been holding out all summer long. Really don't know how much practice he really got in. He did not look like a guy that was ready to play that first game, week 1. And now they're beginning to play a little bit better, but they're still not all the way there. They're still trying to find their running game a little bit. I want to say Chase Brown has been running better as of late. He's a young running back in Cincinnati. So it wouldn't shock me that later on in the season, if Cincinnati starts to pick it up, because they've been notorious as far as starting slow, I still think that they can make a run towards the end of the season for a playoff push.
No, I agree. We have yet to probably see what the real Cincinnati team will look like until they really get to rolling with everybody. It's never good when your top receivers or top offensive weapons haven't been getting reps, in-game reps. Preseason reps and things of that nature before going into the season. I wasn't expecting a whole lot from the Bengals. From the start. I wasn't expecting a 2-4 start though, but definitely I know it was going to be tough with the Jamar Chase situation, and then T Higgins. It's been a whole nother storyline with him too. So, looking to see how Cincinnati bounced back. Before we get into the Monday night matchup, just a few games to highlight. Of course, my Texans 41-21 over the Patriots. Needed a win somehow in the football world. Couldn't get it from the Buffs, couldn't get it from the Buckeyes. So the Texans came through. C.J. Stroud, only 192 yards, 3 touchdowns. Joe Mixon, former Bengal, 13 carries, 102 yards, a touchdown. Uh, Drake May, just to give him a shout out, 243 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. A young quarterback, still trying to find his way in the NFL, but Houston moves to 5-1. Patriots fall to 1-5. Um, Not somebody, I mean, that I feel like a lot of people are talking about, but Caleb Williams played well. I think this was the game in London. The
Yes.
Bears won 35-16. Caleb Williams was 23 for 29, 226 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. And the Bears, man, are now 4-2. Just some quick thoughts, real quick, on how Caleb Williams is adapting to the NFL.
Well, no one had more weapons to start with than Caleb Williams. You know, he came into a situation where the cupboard wasn't bare. You got a couple of wide receivers, you got serviceable tight ends, committee at the running game position, and they go to London. They play a Jacksonville Jaguar team that's not playing well at all. And the Bears did what they're supposed to do. Bears are playing excellent defense, getting the ball back to their offense, and Caleb Williams on Sunday made the plays that needed to be made.
Yeah, and getting into the thick of another rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels. Didn't come up with the win, but it's been looking rather impressive. Ran into hot Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry for
Yep.
the Ravens. Ravens won 30-23. Both teams are now 4-2. Commanders 4-2, man. It's an awful hot, unexpected start. I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
Jaden Daniels was 24 for 35, 269 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson 20 for 26, 323 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But Derrick Henry, man, 24 carries, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns, looking like a young man.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a NFL vet. I mean, he looks fresh and revived, like they knew coming into the season that like we're going to get on the ball.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Definitely.
but a lot of people, I seen where some people hate the uh, Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson comparisons, but I think it was one of my partners on Facebook, Ball Hawk, Ahmad Rashad Hawkins on Facebook. He was saying that you may not like that comparison, but when you look at the numbers,
Hmm.
you can tell that they play identical. Just your thoughts on the hot rookie over at in Washington.
Well, no one forecast that the Washington Commanders would be anywhere near first place. You thought they would be at the back end and the bottom, but Daniels has been awesome. I mean, he's given that team a shot in the arm. He's revived Scary Terry McLaurin, the wide receiver. He's making all the plays. They, it's their division to lose right now because the Eagles have not been impressive, but he's done a tremendous job so far. He's a front runner for rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. He's playing phenomenal, and right now he's single handedly changed the trajectory of that football team.
Agreed. Now, I'm tuning in every Sunday. I'm probing like the scene, trying to figure out who's playing where and what. I
Right.
got all these monitors going and everything like that. But Jaden Daniels is definitely somebody that I enjoy watching. The one thing I will say is Washington has done a great job designing their whole scheme about how he plays. Like like
Hmm.
a lot of times I see college quarterbacks, predominantly, especially when you got the dual threat QBs, they come into
Right.
the NFL, they go into a system that doesn't necessarily fit them. And I
Hmm.
can tell, like a lot of the RPO action that I see that they run with Jaden Daniels. Typically, you see teams trying to convert the dual threat quarterbacks into pro
Right.
style quarterbacks, and I think I just like what Washington is doing. They see that he can make the throws, but then they also use his feet. I was
Right.
getting nervous earlier in the season because I remember when RG3 was in Washington, man, and they
Yes.
ran the
Yeah.
wheels off of
Yeah.
RG3, man. And I was hoping, that wasn't going to happen with
Right.
Jaden Daniels, and I can see that they doing a good job at monitoring the balance between running and allowing him to use his arm.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's the first thing that came to mind. If you remember, RG3, Russell Wilson, and Colin Kaepernick, they were all around the same time. They started running the zone read. That time, NFL, the linebackers weren't seeing anybody run the zone read. So RG3 was running like crazy. The problem with him was he wasn't sliding, taking too many hits. As long as Daniels does not take too many hits, he learns that he has to get down, he has to slide, he's going to be fine because his frame is not that big. So he's got to protect himself.
Agreed, agreed, agreed. And like you say, yeah, he doesn't take that many hits compared to what RG3 was putting his body through. Um, I don't know if this is a shocker or anything like that, but well, let me highlight the Steelers 4-2 now.
Mhm.
Um, not always, it's not always pretty,
Right.
but they finding a way to get it done. When you can win a game and your quarterback only throws for 145 yards, like in the NFL, you're doing it, you making it happen. Defense showed up. I mean, although Las Vegas is, they have their issues and everything like that, but and Justin Fields is you either gonna love him or you gonna hate him. I mean, he's winning games, and you're gonna critique the style. I mean, which is his style of play hasn't always been pretty. No, even at the college level, sometimes because he's another dual threat quarterback that has the ability to use his feet. Um, Ran for 59 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Mhm.
So almost 200 overall all-purpose yards. I mean, as far as throwing and running, and then Najee Harris, he rushed for over 100 yards and a touchdown. So, and the defense only giving up 13 points. So, hey, I
Right.
mean, I think the Steelers are going to continue to try to figure some things out. But as long as you can get some wins along the way, I think that's the best way to do it. Um, the game that I want to get to before Monday night was the Lions and the Cowboys, man.
Ooh.
I mean, now I troll the Cowboys 100 because of the fan base, and then I have a lot of IRLs that's Cowboy fans, so I tend to troll them harder than any other NFL team, but they got their ass whooped. I mean, it's almost to the point, I told this to A. Willie, when I was a kid, I was a sure enough hater. Like I was a sore loser, hater, call it whatever you want. And I would wish for a team to get beat. Um, but then when I see them getting beat, I start to feel sorry for them, man. And that's how I felt for the Cowboys, man. It was just like Detroit was just out there on a scrimmage game, man. Unfortunately, they lost Hutchinson
Yes. Thanks.
in that game, which I think his healthy return and timetable is going to be important to what they're trying to do. But uh, 47-9 was the final
Mm.
score.
Oof.
Jared Goff, I mean, boy, as he revived his career in Detroit,
Yeah.
315 yards, 18 for 25, 3 touchdowns. Montgomery, 80 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Drug a few Cowboys along the way on one of those touchdown runs. Um, Receiving core, I mean, Detroit, man, they got a hell of a team, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just gonna be about collecting dubs for them. The Cowboys, man, the bankroll there, the talent there, but something is not clicking. And it was this game was over long before it was over. I mean, it just seemed like Detroit got to do whatever they wanted. Um, Almost 200 yards rushing, 300 yards in the air. Cowboys didn't even rush for 75 yards. 53 yards rushing total.
Mm.
Dak 17 for 33, 178 yards passing, and two interceptions, no touchdowns. Just real quick thoughts on that game, Derwin.
Well, basically, you hit the nail right on the head. The Cowboys cannot run the football. So when you can't run the football, that makes you one dimensional. When you're one dimensional, you're easy to defend. And, Detroit, really good team. They're able to defend. Dak Prescott's not playing well, real easy. On the other side of the football, you have Detroit. They can run the ball, they can pass the ball. You're not asking Golf to do too much. He can do a lot of things off of that play action pass, and he's making it work because you don't really need him to just drop back 30 times to throw the football. He got a running game. He got two running backs he can hand that ball off to. So they are a complete game. But the tough thing for them going forward is that Minnesota, no one's talking about them. They're undefeated at 5-0. They got to play Minnesota next without Hutchinson.
Yeah, indeed. We're gonna be. It's gonna be Cowboys gonna be on the watch. They on the clock. I mean, I think they probably. I can't remember who said it, but they probably should have went and got Belichick, man, to try to see if somebody can restore some order in there. But then at the end of the day, when you got Jerry Jones running the things, man, and he ultimately is adamant about running things, I think they're getting exactly what they deserve in Dallas, man. You gotta let people, who do it get the job done. I mean, being the owner, GM, like all those titles, man, and it's just doing too much. And then but the one thing that I keep saying in the back of my mind, no matter how much we criticize the Cowboys, man, as long as that money coming in, man, it's gonna be what it's gonna be in Dallas. Like, I mean, they're not. The name of the game is to make money at the end of the day in pro sports, and they're not lacking for that. I mean, and Jerry's been great at that, but they're not great at collecting wins on the football field. And then even when they do, they stumble in the playoffs. And then you got that whole situation with Dak about him getting paid, and now he gets paid, and then it looks like he probably shouldn't have got paid. So
I said back when they gave him the $40 million years ago, he wasn't a $40 million quarterback. Now you give him $60 million. He's the same dude.
Exactly. Moving along, Monday Night Football. Buffalo Bills, New York Jets. We got the whole Aaron Rodgers fiasco. And then now, recently, most of the time news would break before we actually after we record the show. But I believe the Jets did pick up Davante Adams, but we will talk about that. But this game kind of went exactly how I expected it to a degree, only because it was in New York. If it was in Buffalo, I would have said it probably was going to be a blowout. I do believe in certain venues and certain atmospheres in the NFL matter. And in Buffalo, Bills Mafia, that atmosphere and everything like that does matter. 23-20. End up closing out Tyler Bass, 22-yard field goal with almost 4 minutes to go, closed out the game. Josh Allen, 19 for 25, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ray Davis got it down on the ground, 97 yards. Breece Hall, I mean, he had a heck of a game. Didn't get into the end zone, but 18 carries, 113 yards. Aaron Rodgers, 23 for 35, 294 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, and 1 pick, but you think, like, when you look at these numbers, they'd be walking away with a win. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. The Buffalo moved to 4-2. The Jets are now 2-4. Your quick thoughts on Monday Night Football?
This is a game that Jets should have won this game. I mean, your field goal kicker he didn't hit the goalpost once. He hit it twice. He hit the goalpost. That's 6 points right there that you have to have. You got to get points when you're playing a good team like Buffalo. And after that loss, they're 2-4. When you're in New York City teams don't want to hear nothing about rebuilding. They want to win now. You got a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. You got to win now. So that's why they go and make that deal to get Aaron Rodgers' best buddy and wide receiver to get him in there to help them, because the Jets haven't had a good quarterback like this in decades.
That is true. And now the hot topic, Davante Adams made his way, which was, I mean, we kind of all was figuring that, man, that he was going to make his way to the Jets. Um, I personally don't know how this impacts the Jets. I mean, he's not even 100% healthy right now. That's
I
enough.
don't know.
That's it. Oh yeah, well yeah.
The hamstring might be a hamstring might heal up next week.
You-
You know, when you're on the trade block, the hamstring. Oh, them Raiders weren't putting that guy. They tried to trade him. They were not putting him on the field and risk him getting hurt
you know,
before they make a deal.
you're
And
right.
that's my thought. That's my thoughts on it. I'll be shocked if in a week or so he ain't on that field in green for the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, just how do you think this trade uh, helps the Jets?
I think that it makes the Jets better, obviously. And I think it helps Aaron Rodgers because he's been trying to get on the same page with Garrett Wilson and Williams. And Williams got hurt last night. I don't think Williams has a lot left in the tank. He stay hurt. But him and Garrett Wilson been hit and miss. You could say Garrett Wilson's been the Jets' best receiver. You're bringing Adams now. Adams demands a double team. He's going to free up Wilson on the other end, and he can also help mentor Wilson and get him better and get him up to speed. So it's another weapon that Aaron Rodgers is now going to have, along with his other buddy that played in Green Bay. The wide receiver's name is escaping me right now. They had a good night last night. Um, get his name. Forgetting his name right now. I'm drawing a blank.
You
But
said for
this
You said for Seattle.
no. Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers, his wide receiver that was in
Oh,
Green
okay.
Bay, that's playing with him now. He had a couple of catches, over 100 yards last night. It gives them three good receivers. They got to now start putting some points on the board because field goal kicks are not going to cut it. You got to get touchdowns in this league. They're 2-4. They're still not out of it because I don't think Miami's got their issues. You're not worried about New England. It's the Buffalo Bills as a team you got to kind of keep pace with.
Yeah, I think that Alan Lazard. You was talking.
Lazard,
Yeah,
that's who was
he
escaping
had
me.
6 catches, 114 yards, and a
Yeah.
touchdown. Um, yeah, this. I mean, we kind of, like I said, we kind of. I mean, anybody know, like, man, the superstar, they'll find a way to get to where they going. It's gonna be something to watch, because I don't know, like a lot of these trades. I really felt like the Jets have pieces. Like
Yeah.
it's not like they empty over there. Like they literally
No.
got what they got weapons. Of course, you're not gonna turn down an additional weapon, but at the same time, Aaron Rodgers he really gonna have to come through.
Right.
Um, with everything, all the changes and everything that's going on over there. I mean, Hackett being relieved of play calling duties, Salahi getting fired, and they got a lot going on. It's becoming a lot of drama. So I'm anxious to see, like you say, when he gets on the field and what they look like going forward. Before we get out of here, just to preview the next week's games. Week 7 of the NFL, you got Broncos and Saints. Thursday night football. Your quick thoughts on who you think wins that game?
Tough. Sean Payton, I want to say going home, back to New Orleans. I don't think they're going to have their best corner, Patrick Surtain. He had a concussion. I don't think there's any way he's going to be ready in 3 days to get cleared for that game. So Broncos are going to be shorthanded there on defense, and the Saints got a backup quarterback right now playing, but he has not played bad. The Rattler, that Sunday night game, Sunday game, he wasn't too bad. So I think the Saints, I can see the Saints pulling this game out primetime television in New Orleans.
Got you. Just highlight. We got really quick. We got Bengals and Browns, that Ohio Bowl matchup. Texans on the road, the Lambeau, Green Bay Packers. Green Bay playing pretty well. Another big matchup: Lions and Vikings in Minnesota. Minnesota hard to beat in Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's going to be one to watch out for. And then you got Chiefs and 49ers. 49ers coming in at 500, but I still think this is going to be a battle. Chiefs coming off a bye week, so it's going to be they're going to be pretty fresh and ready to roll. Mahomes been continuing to find a way to get it done, no matter what. I don't even look at his numbers anymore. It's just like what is he doing magical on the field to
Right.
help his team win. And then of course Sunday night you got Steelers and Jets. Man, wouldn't it be something for Devontae to suit up? I don't even know if how fast that'd be possible, but be nice to see him suit up for Sunday night. Quick thoughts before we got a doubleheader on Monday Night Football. But
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
you think Steelers take it at home?
Well, it looks like that we're going to see Russell Wilson probably Sunday night because he's going to be taking first team reps this week. So there's a good chance that Russell might get the start. So you're going to have Russell Wilson possibly against Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams might pop up late Sunday night. That's interesting. You got the Vikings. They can go 6-0, pretty much getting a stranglehold on that division, the NFC North. If they can knock off Detroit, I think the Vikings are going to win that game. And yeah, Ohio Bowl should be interesting. Bengals got to win that game, and Cleveland's just been horrible.
Yeah, man. That it's going back to when when they signed Watson every for that amount of money and everything, with all the issues and everything that came with it. It was just now it's interesting to see where they sit now. Monday night we got a doubleheader, which is I'm not a big fan of Monday night. I don't like the doubleheaders because I like them when they one after the other, but not when they
Right.
stacked. You got
Yeah.
8:15 game. You got the Ravens and Buccaneers, which I'm always tune in and watch Lamar, especially with
Right.
Derrick Henry. But then Chargers and Cardinals at 9 p.m. I don't see too many people tuning in for that game. I mean, unless you just diehard Cardinals and
Fan.
Chargers fan. Now I might tune in for a second to see if Marvin Harrison is getting the rock. But other than that, I'll be tuned into that Ravens Buccaneer game. Both coming in at 4-2. Um, Buccaneers, man, they've been steady.
Yeah.
We'll see. Baker Mayfield. I mean, I love to see these quarterbacks, man, finally get into situations where they get a home and really start, trying to have a career. I mean, instead of just being a journeyman. He's
Yeah.
somebody who's been, heavy acclaim from collegiate days and coming into the NFL and some spurts here and there. But like I said, I like to see any quarterback at any point in their career find somewhere they can be stable. But quick thoughts on Tampa Bay and Baltimore before we get out of here.
Might be somewhat of a shootout. These two teams. Baker Mayfield has resurrected his career, is playing really well. He's going to be like, yeah, I got to put some respect on my name in this one. With the Ravens, the whole key for them is running the football. Now with King Henry back there, you have to respect him. You got to bring more guys in the box, and if they're doing that zone read stuff, and Lamar pulls that ball out, he could easily run around the corner. Should be a really good game, entertaining game. The only thing that could really stop the Ravens right now is you figure they have to get to a AFC Championship game, and then Patrick Mahomes is sitting there waiting on them. But they're rolling right now. They're a tough team to beat.
Agreed, man. Derwin, man, the consummate pro, like always, man. I'm glad I tried to get you on before this week, but definitely glad you was able to stop through. Definitely don't want this to be your last trip. Uh, coming through as well. And I mean, maybe one time we can get the trifecta with me, you, and A Willie on talk whether we talking hoops or whether we talking football or whatever. But always a pleasure, man. I always ask A Willie this at the
Hmm.
end of every show. And this could be about anything, but I say
Okay.
you got anything you want to get off your chest, like anything that you just want to put some shine on in the sports world or anything.
Hmm. Anyone? Yes. You know what? People. I hate to go there, but I'll have to go there with this. Uh, Reese. the young lady for the Chicago Sky. You know, people are upset that Witherspoon got fired, and I think that the young lady is a really good player, but I think that she kind of didn't do her coach any favors. The coach didn't do herself any favors by continuously playing someone that's constantly missing half her shots, and you're losing basketball games in the middle of a playoff run. So that kind of got up my craw, bothered me before the playoffs started in the WNBA. So I want to just put that out there. But other than that, I've been on this road with the WNBA. I've caught the fever. It's been entertaining to watch. I like the fact that they're expanding teams, and hopefully, this will continue for them. The women of the WNBA, people tune in and watch. It's a really great game. I went to Mohegan Sun last night. The first time I've ever been in that arena. Not probably holds about 9,000 people. I can imagine a game in that building. It has to be crazy. That many people in that short space, being as loud, with that Connecticut team, and they're going to go through some changes too. But the WNBA is definitely on fire right now, and I hope people jump on board and continue to support the women.
Well said, Derwin. And we're going to have to make sure we get Derwin on the WNBA segment of Troll Time. But I don't really have too much to say. Just football, man. It's been a great year for football in my eyes. I mean, I got a lot of players to watch, a lot of teams that I keep up with. Of course, I'm a Ohio kid. I mean, so I'm a rock with my Buckeyes. But outside of that, like I said, I root for the Texans in the NFL. I also root for Prime and the Bucks because I was a big Prime fan when I was a kid anyway, because I played defensive back. So that was he was, it was him and Green and all them type defensive backs when I was coming up.
Right.
But no, just keep rocking with the show. Keep rocking with my page, Ivan D. Curtis, a.k.a. the Troll King. And like I always say, if you don't remember anything, remember, I'm here to laugh, show love, promote, talk sports, movies, joke, and troll. Catch you on the next episode.